That was a very inspiring session, Sue. Thank you very much for that. Good afternoon, folks, and welcome. We had a customer about 18 months ago that approached us with a significant problem. And they'd been building applications with Mendix for quite a while, and they were scaling their use cases right across their organization. Yet they were still facing a serious challenge they needed our help with. And that challenge was Bob. Now, this is a classic issue facing organizations across the globe. We all have Bobs in our companies. They exist in every single industry. They exist in every single department, in nearly all processes. Bob is that irreplaceable person who has become key to the company, the person that has deep knowledge and understanding of the company. Knowledge that isn't replicated easily elsewhere, and knowledge that without hurts the company greatly. In fact, recent studies have shown that up to 75% of organizations have already identified the Bobs in their company. Now, in this instance, Bob was a senior technician in the main manufacturing plant of this customer. Bob was that person that was able to walk around the shop floor and instantly identify issues and come up with ideas to remedy them straight away. But suddenly, Bob was about to leave, and this posed a very big problem for business continuity. Now, the customer wanted to work with us to explore how they could create an extension of their existing Mendix footprint. They'd already built a significant number of applications right across their business. But to fix the issue that they found with Bob, they wanted to begin to digitize and collect all the information that represents a person like Bob. Now, in their case, this was from the rest of the manufacturing operations. So together we worked hand in hand with them to build a virtual Bob. Now, they called it a virtual engineer. We called it a digital twin of Bob, you might say. But leveraging the Mendix platform, they were able to embed all of the historical manufacturing data from the company into a specific knowledge base. All the data from their assets, all the data from production, maintenance, rosters, historical shifts, everything combined into one single repository. From here, they were able to layer artificial intelligence across the top of that and to ground this AI directly into their corporate data. Deceptively simple, however incredibly powerful, because combined, the virtual engineer with their other operational applications has drastically reduced the time it takes for them to resolve problems on their shop floor. They can literally diagnose and remedy these issues in minutes, ones that previously would have taken hours if the virtual engineer or Bob weren't available. Now, these are the measurable impacts that we're seeing across our customer base today. Those that are moving early in the shift to agentic and AI systems are already reaping the rewards. And the best part is this was all achieved without the traditional team of AI experts. Using the Mendix platform, they were able to drive positive business outcomes, leveraging the abstraction techniques that we embed directly in the platform. But that's not all. Global HR is a complete nightmare. So meet Sarah. Now, Sarah is responsible for paying thousands of employees across dozens of countries. But her tools were never designed for global complexity. Her spreadsheets don't cater for the compliance problems that she faces day in, day out. And every payroll for her feels like a crisis waiting to happen. Now, Sarah is like millions of HR professionals globally. Our customer DataScale HR knows this problem very, very well. They built an AI-native payroll engine from day one, and 85% of their customer workloads are now fully executed by AI and machine learning, not through manual processes, not through spreadsheets, but through automated pattern recognition. They use a hybrid AI approach. Custom ML models learn from historical payroll decisions across over 100 countries. And LLMs handle the semantic field mapping. What does this field mean in Brazil, in Croatia versus Korea? And all of this is orchestrated through the Mendix platform and Mendix Gen AI resource packs. OCR from Amazon Textract helps them ingest legacy payroll files. And crucially, the experts stay in the loop. Payroll specialists validate, correct, and improve the model continuously through their no-code interface. And because all of this sits within inside of Mendix, the team was able to build the entire core platform in just 8 months. Implementation and onboarding of new customers is 10 times faster, and they release features 6 times faster than they could have on a traditional stack. Their CEO puts this best though. They discovered that the missing ingredient was a platform that was good enough to experiment with, but also good enough to go into production scale. And this is exactly the space that Mendix plays in today. But that's not all. In retail, customers face thousands of choices across styles, ergonomics, and configurations. Meet Sunon. Sunon is one of Asia's largest manufacturers of furniture. And they got feedback from their customers that thousands of products and endless configurations makes buying confusing, makes the buying experience overwhelming and inconsistent. And in today's competitive landscape, companies must provide a more guided interaction. So recognizing this, Sunon built an AI-powered furniture selection assistant. They did this obviously on Mendix. And this has dramatically sped up the process from investigation through to customization, increasing customer satisfaction along the way. But let's zoom out for a moment and look at what these 3 stories actually have in common. Vivix showed us what happens when you capture decades of engineering knowledge and turn it into an AI assistant, going from hours to minutes in problem resolution. DataScale HR showed us what happens when you build AI native from the start, automating 85% of global payroll workloads and scaling across dozens of countries. And finally, Sunon, they showed us the customer-facing side of this, using AI to guide buyers through thousands of furniture options, transforming a complex catalog into a personalized experience. 3 different industries, 3 completely different problems, but the pattern is identical. AI acting on top of data, and Mendix turning that intelligence into real applications. And organizations are collapsing delivery times from years to months to weeks. And this is why the combination of AI and low-code matters, because it solves the right problem for each business and fast. And it does it without asking them to rebuild their entire IT stack. So now we've seen what's possible and what's being done, let's talk about the broader trends that's impacting this and where we're going next. And to understand this, let's go back in time, almost exactly 3 years to the day when something quite monumental happened.
ChatGPT. Maybe you've heard of it. If you haven't, then get ready, because this promises to be the viral sensation that could completely reset how we do things.
And completely reset things it has indeed. When ChatGPT launched and burst onto the scenes at the end of 2022 in November, nobody foresaw the impact that it would have on everything in our personal lives right through to the way that we conduct business. It was the fastest adopted technology ever. And today, nearly 3 years to the day, the technology that ChatGPT was built on, the LLM, has become incredibly pervasive in basically all facets of our daily lives. Globally, we've continued to adopt products and services built on LLMs. They've revolutionized the way that we do processes across all parts of our lives. The adoption growth curves that we see here are the same across all providers, be it Google, Anthropic, Perplexity, Mistral. OpenAI released some really interesting research into what individuals are using ChatGPT for. Practical guidance. So try learning a new topic by talking to ChatGPT. It's revolutionizing hyper-personalized learning and education. Seeking information. These tools are phenomenal at doing research on topics, purchases, strategy, etc. And lastly, writing. The most widely used, create me an email, check a draft, write a mind-numbingly boring LinkedIn post with 542 emojis. This chart, however, relates very closely to what we're seeing in the enterprise space as well, where customers are gaining the most benefits from corporate-based LLMs. So take the virtual engineer as an example. This was a blend of both seeking specific information and inputting errors and issues from the shop floor. then what happened was the LLM was teaching or tutoring, giving us the information that we needed to fix the problem and show the user what to do in order to fix it. So from an AI strategy perspective, this has shown us to be a very valuable approach to testing AI in the enterprise, picking up use cases that are similar to those that people are already experiencing with at home. This helps us drive adoption through familiarity. Now, what we're looking at here is the pace of AI capability over the last decade. And the part that people consistently underestimate here is just how fast this curve is tightening. Every new generation of models isn't just an incremental step up, it's arriving faster, it's arriving cheaper, and it's arriving with an order of magnitude jump in capability. Now, these earlier curves on the right-hand side, these took years to progress, but each of the recent ones, GPT-4, 5, Claude, Gemini, they're stacking almost on top of each other now. So this isn't linear improvement, this is compounding behavior, the kind that you normally only ever see in financial markets or viral growth curves, for example. And this really matters because enterprise technology was never designed to operate at this speed. Your governance cycles, your procurement processes, your software delivery methods were all built for a world where major shifts happen every 5 to 10 years. But that world is now well and truly behind us. We are now in a cycle where the underlying capabilities can change dramatically in just a matter of months. And these models aren't just coming faster, they're getting smarter every time as well. So here you're looking at the reasoning capability of today's major models. This is not hype, this is not marketing, this is measured performance against a wide range of tasks. Now, for most of the last decade, models lived over here on the left-hand side. Useful, but very narrow in scope. And then over the last 18 months, we saw something that we've never really seen before. Multiple models from multiple vendors leaping into human-level reasoning. Again, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google. There's not one clear winner at this stage. It's a global tech acceleration event. And for the first time in history, intelligence has become a horizontal capability. It is not locked inside of one company, it's become an ingredient. Anyone can access it and anyone can build on top of it. But here's the twist. Intelligence on its own isn't transformation. Transformation happens when this intelligence becomes situated in your business, your systems, your data, your workflow, your decisions. So now that we understand where model intelligence is heading, quickly, let's talk about how and where that intelligence is going to live. Because AI isn't just changing software, it's changing hardware as well. And we're entering the first real shift in personal computing since the smartphone 15 years ago. Devices are becoming AI native. We've seen the early signals of that with Meta's display glasses, for example, with Android XR, with these new multimodal wearables that are also coming out. These devices aren't built around apps. They're built around inputs like vision, like voice, like gesture, haptics. And there's a constant contextual AI layer that sits underneath everything. So once you have AI-first hardware, your software evolves with that as well. And next generation software looks nothing like the systems we've built today. We're moving from application-centered experiences to intent-centered experiences. And instead of navigating menus and clicking buttons, software becomes orchestration. We describe the outcome and the system assembles the workflows for us. And this is where AI becomes embedded, not bolted on. Every interface becomes adaptive. Every process becomes optimizable. And every system becomes personalized to the role, to the moment, and to that very specific context. The boundary between UI, logic, and automation starts to dissolve. And what comes out the other side is something that Mendix customers are already building today: agents. Now, agents aren't just chatbots. They are full systems that can take a goal and carry out the steps to achieve it. Agents observe, decide, and act across your applications. They remove the friction of clicking through workflows and instead execute tasks on your behalf. Now, we'll unpack agents more a bit later on, but the key point here is that AI is moving from assisting humans within applications to acting across our applications. And this shift has huge implications for how we build software. The agentic IDE is where all of this converges together. It's the shift from the developer telling the system what to do to the developer collaborating with an intelligent partner that can design, build, test, and optimize right alongside them. Instead of writing every flow, every integration, every test, you describe the business outcome, and in our case at Mendix, our software agent Maya assembles the scaffolding for you. The developer's role moves up stack. Less syntax, more strategy. Less plumbing, more product thinking. Less assembly, and more oversight. And this is where the ecosystem is already heading. Devices going AI native, software becoming intent-driven, agents acting as digital workers, and development itself becoming a collaborative, automated, and continuous experience. And organizations that are designing for this stack now will be the ones who benefit over the next generation and next decade of acceleration. So this isn't all future talk. By 2026, in just over a year, Gartner expects that 80% of enterprises will have already embedded GenAI models or be running GenAI-enabled applications in production. Now that's up from less than 5% just 3 years ago. So this is one of the fastest enterprise technology shifts that we've ever seen. And it forces a fundamental question, because if AI is entering every workflow, every department, every system, what does an organization actually begin to look like in this new environment? And with the rise of AI, we're seeing organizations evolve to include both human and digital workforces. For decades, software has been a tool used by humans, but GenAI changes that relationship completely. We're moving from software that executes predefined steps to software that can understand intent, reason about tasks, and take action on our behalf. And that shift isn't just theoretical, it's already reshaping leadership expectations. Now again, this is Roland Busch, the CEO of Siemens, and his view on this is incredibly clear. I will be the last CEO of Siemens to manage only people, and my successor will oversee many more digital workers than humans. This is already happening. So this is not just hype. This is the CEO of a 176-year-old industrial giant saying the very workforce itself is changing. So if digital workers are becoming part of the operating model, then the next question is, how does software change when the worker changes? And today, software is built with very strict rules, rigid flows, and explicit instructions. It's literal. It only does what you tell it. Agentic AI breaks this paradigm completely. Instead of telling the system exactly how you want to do something, we tell it the outcome that we want and let the intelligence figure out those steps. And this is the shift from procedural automation to autonomous orchestration. And this is what that means architecturally. We move from humans manually driving workflows to agents coordinating tasks across systems, collecting data, making decisions, taking actions, and escalating only when they need to. So think of it as a digital workforce sitting across your existing applications and infrastructure. Your systems stay the same, but the way work flows through them becomes intelligent. And this isn't just one big super agent that controls everything. It's a network of thousands of specialized agents, each with their own domain, collaborating just like teams do today. Bless you. Now let's break down what an agent actually is, because this is where people just think it's a chatbot, but that's not what we're talking about. An AI agent behaves much like a digital employee. It can understand, it can decide and act, not just follow rules. It has the ability to observe what's happening in the environment, reason about what it's seeing, plan what to do next, act across applications, refine its approach through feedback, and collaborate with other agents or humans to reach its goal. Those 6 capabilities turn automation from an if X then Y into something that can actually navigate complexity. On the right-hand side, this is how this loop actually works. An agent takes in observations, uses its memory, uses its tools and goals to decide what to do. It then takes an action in that environment, senses the outcome, and loops back with feedback. This is exactly how humans operate when they do work. We observe, think, act, and then adjust. The only difference with agents is they can run 24/7 at machine speed across hundreds of systems simultaneously. And this is what makes agents transformational. They're not just responding, they're participating in our work. So now that we understand how agents work, let's look at where organizations are in the adoption curve of this technology. Now today, most organizations sit very much here on the left-hand side, using LLMs as token predictors, for example, or embedding them behind conversational UIs, which is useful, but it is just basically a smarter chatbot. We're now seeing real traction in this middle tier with agentic workflows, and these are the systems that don't just answer questions, they also perform tasks for us. And as we move into the near future, organizations will shift from agentic workflows to fully autonomous agents and eventually onto multi-agent systems coordinating work across departments. This is the direction of travel, and every single company in this room will move along this curve, and it's only a matter of how long and how safely you do that. So let's talk about our approach, how Mendix is enabling enterprises to actually build and run agentic applications at scale. So first we start with our out-of-the-box agent experiences. These are the pre-built interfaces and flows for things like search agents, chat agents, document processing agents, all the common patterns that we see across different industries. So this means teams don't have to start from zero. They start with production-grade templates. Next is the agentic, or the agents kit, should I say. And this is that orchestration layer. And this is where Mendix becomes the operating system for your digital workforce. We support here MCP, agent-to-agent protocols, tool calling, memory, patterns, everything that you need to coordinate multiple agents working towards a shared goal. Then we add in a full library of GenAI building blocks. These are connectors, these are your templates, these are the conversational UI blocks, LLM tools, all plug and play. And then enterprises get turnkey access to large language models and knowledge bases directly on Mendix Cloud. Now this solves one of the biggest blockers that we hear from CIOs. Where do we host our AI safely? Who governs it? Who manages updates? We give you governed enterprise-grade homes for that. And now this is the important part, because we're not replacing low-code here. We're extending on top of it. Mendix becomes the environment where you combine traditional business logic, deterministic logic, with user interfaces, with agent orchestration, with enterprise data, all governance, and with inside of one single platform. And this is how you build agentic applications safely, but more importantly, at scale. And then finally, we have responsible AI. Enterprises need observability, traceability, guardrails, monitoring, validation, and metering. They need the confidence that these agents are behaving the way they were designed to. And this is where Mendix stands apart. We're not just enabling agents, we're governing them for you. So that's the framework. And you can see how many of our customers are already using it. We spoke about these at the outset of the session. Vivix with their virtual engineer, public sector customers using agents for things like document summarization, case triage, DataScale HR, building an agentic payroll engine across 100+ countries, insurers using it for things like claims evaluation, and retailers like Sunon using it for guided product selection. And this is very important because all of these customers are solving real-world problems. They're very early in the agentic application era, but these are delivering meaningful business outcomes today already in production. But it's also where I think we need to be a little bit honest with ourselves in this room. Because here's the uncomfortable truth that MIT is calling out. Launching an AI pilot is easy. Getting it into production at scale, consistently, securely, that is brutally hard. And this is what we call the AI pilot paradox. Most organizations can get something working in a sandbox, but very few can operational AI across business units, workflows, and data systems. So even though we're seeing great success with early agentic applications at Mendix, many in the industry are struggling to make AI truly productive. So if 95% of Gen AI projects are failing to deliver business value, the reason is almost never the model. It's not the wrong LLM, it's not bad prompts, it's not enough GPU. The real failures are what happened below the waterline here. It's the data foundations. It's the pipelines, the lineage, the governance, the orchestration, and the integration. It's the messy, ugly enterprise-grade complexity that every organization already has, and most Gen AI pilots completely ignore. So while building pilots is easy, getting AI into production securely, reliably, and at scale, that's the hard part. Which brings us to the heart of this challenge, data and its importance to AI. Now, this slide explains the problem perfectly. At the top here, this is the part that everyone gets really excited about. This is the app layer, the chatbot, the agent, the clever workflow. Below that, you've got your AI layer, your model selection, your RAG, your vector search. But the real weight, the real difficulty is in the layers below that, the data layer, connecting, cleansing, preparing, governing enterprise data at scale. And the infrastructure layer, security, access control, monitoring, lineage, compliance. This is the foundation that makes or breaks Gen AI and Agentic AI. And it's exactly why so many organizations stall in the pilot phase, because you cannot deliver AI value if you cannot support AI workloads. And it's because of this very problem that we made a very significant investment to help our customers. At Siemens, we purchased Altair to help improve our simulation capabilities. We also purchased Altair to get the RapidMiner data science platform. And now this is the moment where Mendix and RapidMiner come together, because the future of enterprise AI isn't just about building agents, it's about building them on top of a trusted, governed, production-ready data foundation. And now combined, how do we give AI the environment it needs to actually deliver this value? So this is what it looks like when you combine the power of Mendix and RapidMiner. At the bottom, you have all of your enterprise data. You have your systems of record, you have your IoT platforms, PLM, MES, ERP, finance, the sources of data that matter to you. Above that is your data layer. This is where you're cleansing, it's transformation, it's pipelines. This is where you do all of your governance. It's where you activate the data into a knowledge graph, so it's ready for AI. On top of that is the AI fabric. Large language models, multi-agent orchestration, accelerators, guardrails. This is where the intelligence is created and improved. And at the very top, that's Mendix, the app layer, where your users interact with AI through copilots, automations, agents, and applications, and agentic applications. And this is the path that we see where you go from raw data to governed data to intelligence and business outcomes. And this is what will help customers close that 95% gap we spoke about. So what's a good example of what happens when organizations fix the data foundation and let AI work on top of it? Carl Zeiss, one of the most sophisticated manufacturing and optics companies on the planet. They were facing a challenge that many of you will recognize. They had massive amounts of machine data, sensor data, service logs, maintenance history, but no unified understanding of how it all connected to each other. So using the AI fabric and a knowledge graph, they integrated equipment data, operational context, service manuals, and real-time field information into a semantic layer. The result was a 30% improvement in uptime and business continuity. This wasn't a new model, it wasn't a fancy pants chatbot, it was just better data. Structured, connected, and activated so that AI could actually reason over the top of it. So this is what an enterprise looks like when the foundations are strong. But it's not just high-precision process manufacturers. Sabic, a global chemical and industrial giant, they use the same approach. Building a knowledge graph that gives AI a complete understanding of assets, processes, failure patterns, and historical interventions. Once their operational data was connected semantically, maintenance costs dropped by double digits. Equipment downtime reduced by nearly 30%. Again, the pattern is identical. You don't get value from the model, you get value from the data the model can actually understand. Knowledge graphs turn messy, siloed enterprise data into something AI can use to make smart, reliable, context-aware decisions at scale. And this is where it all comes together. To operate AI at scale, across manufacturing, HR, field service, finance, customer operations, you need more than a model, and you need more than an app. You need a portfolio of continuous improvement and innovation. DevOps for rapid development and iteration of Mendix applications. Model ops to version, test, validate, and safely deploy AI models and agents, all governed at scale. And this is the ecosystem that organizations like Vivix, like DataScale HR, Zeiss, Sabic are using to turn AI from a pilot into a production-grade capability that actually improves their operations. This is the real differentiator, and this is the backbone that makes enterprise AI actually work. So I'll leave you with a very simple idea. Software is evolving from a static experience to dynamic, contextual, agent-driven systems. In the next few years, every application will have an embedded AI, an orchestration layer, a semantic understanding of your business, and the ability to take action autonomously. And Mendix and RapidMiner are the platform where this future can be built. Not just faster apps, but smarter systems. So thank you very much, and I'm excited to see what you build next.